All right, Kill Team fans, this is Aric, aka Oodsicle, and I am here with Ryan from Command Point. And tonight we are looking at another competition in the Transatlantic Open, this time between Micromancer's Astra Militarum and Skinner's Thousand Suns. This is the potential last bastion of hope to stop an all Drukhari. Well, it's not potentially. Either one of these will not be Drukhari in the final
Yeah.
four, which is going to be great. There's one match that already Drukhari has won, which we streamed on here. With Shane from Command Point going through, and then we have two other matches: another Astra Militarum versus Drukhari, as well as uh, a Drukhari versus Admech matchup. I believe we'll take a look at the bracket in a minute. Anyways, how you doing tonight, Ryan?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, yeah. So am I. Glad you could join me tonight for this stream. It's been pretty fun getting to do these. Getting to do it. You, Shane, did one with Tim the other day. Did one with Alex. So it's been a lot of fun getting to do all these streams with different people and watch these different games. Although pretty much every single one has had Drukhari in it. I think besides this one, is this the only non-Drukhari one we've done? Oh no, I guess we had the Admech versus Gene Colts earlier in
We
the
had
group.
the
Yeah, yeah,
AdMech versus Gene Stealers. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and we had Astra Militarum versus Sisters of Silence, but both of those were complete and utter stomps. Anyways, I got the
Yeah.
bracket up on stream right now, so we are looking at Micromancer versus Skinner right here at the top of the bracket. That's what we'll be going on tonight, and then we still have Roshist Fern with his Astra Militarum versus Manco and his Drukhari. Ray J and his Admech versus Dangerfro and his Drukhari, and then the other match, which has already been finished and we streamed here as well, where Shane from Command Point took his Drukhari and took out Alex Tau, sending him to the Nether Realm and propelling his Drukhari closer and closer to another finals win here. So
Yeah. Foreshadowing. I don't know. Um, my money right now is probably on Shane to take it all, I would say. And then the runner up is probably going to be Micro, honestly. Um, I genuinely think that those two are the best kill team competitors that are left alive in the bracket. But James here, he's no slouch, and he's been killing it with his Thousand Sons so far in this tournament. Against like everyone's expectations, I would say at 100 points, a lot of people would not think that Thousand Sons would be as good as they would be in like a 125 point roster. But James has proven them wrong, outlasting even some Drakari players.
yeah, and he's done it by taking the Terminator Sorcerer. I believe in every single match he's played, he has made sure that he had both of those psychics. And yeah, again, at 100 points, you would think that that would really limit what the Thousand Suns player could do. But he's worked his way through groups now. He's working his way through the bracket. I do think that the Astra Militarum is a good matchup. Um, for the Astra Militarum, rather. I think they have a good matchup against the Thousand Suns with as many multiple wound models as they have. He's also got the plasma option to take out those sorcerers if he wants to. I imagine we'll see Pious Vorn tonight because that's another multiple wound model, but especially with the Feel No Pains. But maybe, maybe not. I guess thoughts coming into this match? Obviously, you've put Micro into the runner-up in the final, so you're thinking he's going to take out these Thousand Suns. But yeah, any thoughts roster-wise between these two lineups here? If you're going to see Plasma, if we're going to see Pius Vorn, do you think we're going to still see the Terminator on the Thousand Suns side?
Sorry about that. I think we may see Pius Vorn. If Skinner's going to be taking the Terminator and the Aspiring Sorcerer, I would expect to see probably a bunch of those Tzaangors as well. So they can just Pius Vorn can chew through those models, no problem. No problem. Same thing with Godfrey. Godfrey's definitely going to be taken. Um, and then think I think he's going to be relying on those hotshot volley gunners, those Scion hotshot volley
Okay, you
gunners to
think we
just
see the
kind
hot
of
shot again? All right.
yeah. just to get some control there.
Yeah, I guess when you think about it, considering you might see some of the space chickens, the hotshot volley guns are probably more effective against them than they are than the plasma is. You're still getting, I believe it's -2 AP on those.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
check.
correct.
Yeah, so 2 AP is still pretty good, right? Even against the Marines. So those probably will be the answer. Whenever you think of Astra Militarum, I always think plasma, and I think, oh man, this Sorcerer, this Terminator, like you want those plasmas. And here we go. It looks like they are mustered. And wow, okay. So I won that one because he's got 2 plasma gunners. He does have
Ooh,
1 hotshot volley gun, and he did take the Pious Warren for another multiple wound model here. The Flamer's pretty good too, right, against those chickens with the 5-up invulns. And
yeah, for
taking a
sure.
taking a look over here, Skinner does have both sorcerers. The Occult Sorcerer Terminator is the veteran. The Aspiring Sorcerer, non-specialist. We have Tzaangor Brayhorn comms, and we have a demo Rubric Marine with the Soulreaper cannon, and then the Twistbray leader, as well as a normal Tzaangor. So, gosh, can you believe that that's 100 points? That's a pretty solid looking squad for 100 points, right?
Yeah. I mean, 6 bodies at 100 points for Thousand Suns and still managing to stick in the Terminator, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, considering the
Um,
Terminator, you got 6 models, 7 wounds, right? Which is,
yeah.
pretty decent. Obviously, the Astra Militarum, we're going to outnumber him unless he did anything like Tzaangor spam. Otherwise, the Astra Militarum was definitely going to outnumber him. But yeah, this is kind of, I guess, what I thought. I wasn't expecting the Soul Reaper cannon. I didn't know if he had been playing that at all before this. I hadn't really followed any of his games, but I did not expect the Soul Reaper with comms.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect out of the Rubric Marine demo in this matchup. Just because its stat line, like, it doesn't necessarily have really long range. It's a heavy weapon, and he'll always be hitting at max efficiency because of the all is dust ability that they
Yeah,
have. The AP is good, but AP3 is pretty unnecessary, I think, against a lot of these models. And then against like Godfred or something, it's just nullified by the storm shield that that model has. So I don't
yeah.
know. I think we're gonna see probably just like a shootout, and I think that Micro is gonna have the advantage just because of those 3 plasma guns,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
targeting those marine equivalent models that James is going to be bringing.
for sure. And his AP will actually do something, right? The 3 AP
Yes.
on the plasma is actually going to do something to any of those marine models, as well as
Yeah.
the Terminator model. Obviously, it'll take it to the invuln save, but that's still pretty effective. Where you look, like you said, the Soul Reaper cannon, the AP not as effective against these Astra Militarum, because a lot of them wouldn't get a save even with -1 or -2 AP, and the other ones, you're looking at an invuln save, and you're looking at yeah, I'm not sure it'll be as effective, but I would have personally looked at this map and looked at this deployment and thought maybe a flamer, because you could park them here real close, kind of scare those Astra Militarum off. You could advance them where you want them to get some flamer shots. But I don't play Thousand Suns. I also didn't play in this tournament, and if I had, I would not be at this point of the bracket. So I don't know how much I can talk. Let's take a look at the secondaries. Go over
Yeah.
here to Micromancer, and he is running Bounty Hunters, Recon Sweep, and Engage on all fronts. So I think that's
Okay.
pretty similar to what he's been running overall with this team, um, or at least what he ran up against you the other night. Correct?
Yeah, it was pretty similar. I don't think it is exact because this is a different set of secondaries.
Yeah, I do remember. I do remember Engage on all fronts because we were worried about whether he
Oh,
was going to get it.
I'm getting a message from Tom telling
Oh,
us to turn on the video.
turn on the video. Oh, have I not? Oh, you know what? All right, that is my bad, you guys. Oh, terrible. I've been doing all this great camera work, and it wasn't even on the stream. It just had the 2 animations battling it out. Sorry about that, guys. That is a caveman move. I should have had the chat up. Super caveman move. Drop it on me, guys. Gosh. I got on here so early too. I got on here like 30 minutes. I had the scenes all set up. I got the bracket re-edited. I got the animations put into the stream. I got everything set up, and then I forget to click a single button here. I even set up cool like hotkeys to change between the scenes so I don't have to reach over and click them, and I forgot to hit the hotkey. So there you go. That's my fault, you guys. Apologies. We are looking at the team. We talked about the muster. You guys just couldn't see it, so I've completely, screwed that up. But you guys will be able to see it on the field now. So talking about these secondaries, we were just talking about micro, bounty, recon sweep, engage on all fronts. Let's check out what Skinner's got over here. He appears to be running recon sweep, thin their ranks, and bounty hunters. Okay, so all right. He just did a little flip
Interesting.
there to remember what he had chosen. Yeah, recon sweep on this map, not that difficult, but a little bit more difficult when you don't set up any models kind of close enough to get in there. And I don't believe he has any in Deep Strike, whereas Micro appears to have this Hotshot Volley Gunner, Scion Plasma Gunner, and Rouse in reserve. So he's got two
Yeah.
Scions. He can use that 1 CP tactic to drop those guys in wherever he'd like. And then Rouse obviously will probably come in. I would imagine he might even just bring. He probably would have brought him into his own deployment zone had the Thousand Suns deployed a little bit closer. But considering where they deployed, kind of interesting to me, right? Like this made sense when we watched the game the other night with the Tau versus Shane, because you have those rails, you're setting up a nest in this back corner. But this is kind of, you know, I didn't expect them to all be the Thousand Suns to all be cooped up in this corner like that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense just because Godford being set up on the line there is pretty terrifying. You don't want to put too many models too close and allow him to get stuck in, and then you're basically just stuck there for a turn, unable to move. I'm not sure about. You said that James had taken recon sweep. Is that right?
Yes, he has recon sweep, thin their ranks,
Yeah.
and bounty hunter. So
All right.
yeah, thin their ranks
Um.
makes sense. Especially with the psychic. Generally, you can get more
Yeah.
models out of action, especially for free. It's going to be tough when you consider we've got 3 wound Gottfried, 2 wound Pius, and then 2 wounds on both of your Rhine and Rouse. But we'll
Yeah.
see. It's looking like an uphill battle for the Thousand Suns, in my opinion, just in the basic deployment, setup, and uh, difference in teams and what they can bring to the field here. But we'll see. He's made it this far, so Skinner might have something up his sleeve, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, I still feel like an absolute caveman. I've had my caveman moment though. I've gotten it out of the way. It's contagious, is what it is. So
Yeah. I mean, good to get it out early on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Looks like rolling in advance there for his Pious Warren. I can't imagine that was a charge roll. Yeah, yeah. No, it's one dice. All right, yeah. So he's advancing Pious Warren. I imagine he'll move her up just onto the edge of this objective. Um,
Yeah.
Within range, although he's got to get within range for that flamer to be effective. Mind you, I'm sure Skinner will be all too happy to run these models away from the flamer's range, but at the same time, you gotta, at least challenge him with it. Otherwise, you're just leaving her out there to get shot up by this Soulreaper cannon and psychicked down. That's one thing too you got to be worried about is as having the initiative here for the Astra Militarum a little bit more difficult for him to ensure that he can spread out these psychic attacks. Whereas if he knew where the psychic attacks were going to be coming from, he could put a 2 wound model closest to one of them and then another model closest to the other, rather than now, depending on how Skinner moves his models, he could potentially set up to use both psychics on one model and eliminate it from the board.
Yeah, for sure. So I like this movement right now from Micro. Where is that demo gunner? Okay. Yeah, so right now, obscured from the demo gunner, we're gonna have, yeah, that's a good spot right there, just because that flamer is going to threaten anything within 8 inches of it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it puts a 2 wound body in between the rest of his team and those psychers, so James will have to move, um, and he's not going to want to charge those Tzaangors in on that point
Yeah.
unless they're actually able to get inside combat.
Yeah, and I don't know that, at all you want to get in there. Even if you can get in combat, you're getting in combat with Gottfried, and then
Yeah,
it's like your options are get shot by this flamer, get shot by plasma, or get into combat with Gottfried. Those aren't great options.
no, yeah, they are not. That's why I was surprised that he took recon sweep, because an objective where he needs to wind up in his opponent's deployment zone, he's gonna have to get through like that kind of 5 wound wall of Gottfried and Pius there. That's
Yeah.
gonna be tough. I don't If he scores those points, it's not gonna be in the first half of this game. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, you'd expect, I mean, potentially, right? Had he gone for the Tzaangor spam, or had he gone maybe a little bit something different, you think, oh, I can just put a Tzaangor in reserves, and then that kind of makes him think, oh, it makes the Astra Militarum player play a little bit differently, worry about the recon sweep, worry about that model coming in on his back lines. But without that even having that model in reserves, you know that he's not coming in that way. And like you said, you've got this 5 wound wall that he has to penetrate to get anywhere near the deployment zone now.
Yeah. So Micro, he doesn't have to worry about like screening his backfield for like turn for like I guess the rest of this it's very freeing for Micro because now he doesn't need to set up models inside his deployment zone in order to screen it out, you know? He can just kind of move wherever he wants, and that's I guess that's like the saving grace here with
Yeah,
how that deployment phase worked out. He can afford to be a lot more aggressive.
yeah. I will say, got to be careful with some of these models still. It's something not a lot of people think about. It's something I've had a lot of experience with my Grey Knights in Arena. Is you look at this plasma gunner, right, and you think, okay, I've got all these multiple wound models in front of me. Okay, he's kind of adjusting it a little bit now, but you got to worry about the angles, right? Because okay, there's a 2 wound model, but if I can't see that 2 wound model, if all I can
That's
see
right.
is the plasma gunner and he's the closest thing to me that I can see, because I'm, using this wall in arena or this container right here, it's looking
Right.
like right now we're actually where that plasma gunner is setting up. If, Skinner is paying attention or looking for that kind of thing, he could set up potentially over here on the far side of this container and have eyes on that plasma while not having eyes on Pius Vorn. So, got to be careful with those movements and those placements. Always have to keep in mind the effectiveness of psychic.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Looks like the movement is just about done here. Completely finished for Micro, so we're going to move into Skinner's movement. Mind you, Micro still has a Rouse and 2 Scion Gunners, one heavy hotshot volley and one plasma gunner sitting, waiting to come in reserves, which is ultimately terrifying. And one of those things that, again, as we were discussing, how Micro doesn't have that pressure on him. Now Skinner has that pressure on him of not only these big guns, but this big grenade and a multiple wound model coming in onto the battlefield.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I think I saw James just measuring a little bit
Hmm.
from his aspiring sorcerer to his Tzaangor. So I wonder if we'll see him use that Thousand Suns tactic of you get +1 to your psychic test for every model within like a certain, it's like 3-inch radius or something from your psyker or something like that. I forget the name of it, but I wonder if
Oh, so
we'll
you're
see
thinking
him
he's
use that.
he's fishing for that big 10 or 11 is or
I
whatever it is
Yeah,
to get the multiple
yeah.
D3. Then you roll the D3 and you end up with a 1 and Gottfried's in the exact same position that he was before, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It 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 definitely is a Hail Mary play.
Yeah.
But I mean, I I think in this matchup, just because Godfrey is so close
Hmm.
to the rest of Skinner's models right now, I think it might be worth it.
Yeah. Well, and
But
if you
then
can
but
if you
then
can
that
take him
runs
out.
counter to everything I've ever said about Godfrey, which is don't even just
Yeah.
ignore him, run away from him, kite him around the map.
Yeah. Don't
Just don't even
engage.
involve yourself with him. Yeah.
Do not engage. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Interestingly
It's hard
enough.
when you're playing against Micro though, because he plays aggressively
Oh
with
yeah.
Godfrey. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like whether you want to or not, he'll be there.
He puts him. I
threatening
mean,
you.
he knows how sturdy he is, and he knows how to use him. I don't know if I've ever seen the Godfrey really get any kills for Micro, but he puts him in a position where you either have to go, I guess, counter to what you might want to do to avoid him, or you have to engage him. Right? It's one
Yeah,
or the other. Like he doesn't leave him in a position like, oh, I'm going to leave him back here to score, or I'm going to do this. Even in that game where Micro had domination, and we knew that the point of Godfrey was to get domination, he said, screw domination. I'm throwing this guy into the front lines to ensure that he is as disruptive as possible. I'll score domination some other way.
yeah. And you can do that with Imperial Guard because of all their movement shenanigans that they get with Ryan and Rouse, with their orders, stuff like that. That's what happened in my game against him.
Yeah.
He was able to get Gottfried stuck in with a bunch of models on an objective that I was holding, and I think he was still able to score domination in that same turn.
Yeah, I believe he used the go 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 or the whatever the command is,
Move,
but he
move,
move
move,
move move
move.
go 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 move, same thing, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, he was able to use that, and like you mentioned, Ryan and Rouse with the built-in free fire and
fire
fade.
and fade. No, no.
Absolutely insane models. This is why I had Astra Militarum picked. We do have Micro, we have Rosherfest in that upper bracket as well. It could be two Drukhari in the bottom mirror match versus a double Astra Militarum mirror match in the top.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So still no movement here. Lots of measurement. Looks like he did ready up this Soul Reaper cannon, so he's gonna leave him there. Let's see what kind of angles I guess this plasma has on the Soul Reaper. It looks like both of these plasmas are set up to potentially fire at the Soul Reaper cannon, so that is kind of a scary spot for him.
Yeah,
Not sure what they're
man, I'm just
measuring
not
right now.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of measuring and not a lot of movement right now. A lot of
Oh,
pinging.
he is. I believe he is. I believe he is declaring a
Oh, has he
charge.
just? Oh, okay.
I think he is declaring a charge onto Gottfried and onto Pius Vorn with this. That's his leader. He's sending the Twistbray leader in. Oh my. Okay. All right. This is
So he's
happening.
declaring a charge against Gottfried and Pius Vorn there. You know what? I honestly really like this move.
I'm not
Let's see
sure
how
that
those dice panned out for him. Okay, 5 inches.
five.
I all of a sudden do not like this move.
Yeah, I don't think he gets it. Oh, unless does he have the Brayhorn gives him does the
It gives him +1.
plus
Yeah,
one. Okay, so he does get that
yeah.
charge onto Gottfried, but I mean, up in
So
Gottfried, that's a scary place to be. That's his leader, right? You're talking
yeah,
about a potential CP gone there this turn, because what?
yeah. But here's why I like this move. Okay,
Hmm.
I like it because notice how he didn't go base to base with Gottfried.
Yeah,
I like it because I think he may be able to kind of finagle his way onto that point and still be in combat.
yeah.
So he'll be able to potentially contest that objective or set up to contest that objective turn two
Okay. That's if he
with
survives,
the yeah.
though.
Yeah, it's a big ask, but I mean like this model it has it's got that 5 up invuln save. I mean,
Yeah.
I know he's gonna get bodied by I don't know. Maybe he's just really committing to killing Godfred here.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. That's
He's
one thing
readied up
too,
all
right?
these models in the backfield. He's got his psychers set up, lined up to take their psychic or to shoot cybolts at Godfred.
Hmm.
So I mean that kind of negates the whole idea of oh well they'll be able to those Zangars will just wind up being sitting ducks, but and you see James measuring back from the Zangor to all of those Thousand Suns models he has in the back corner there. I
Yeah.
really think he's setting up to use that
Yeah.
to use the tactic there.
I am kind of scared though, right? Because obviously psychic happens before your shooting or your combat phase here, but you're looking so he's charged his leader in. I almost would have swapped places with that leader and this Tzaangor, regular Tzaangor in the back. Um,
Mm,
but he's got this regular Tzaangor back here, and I imagine this is to screen out some of the deep strike. But this one model, I don't think is going to be enough to screen much out, right? Like you're making it start further away, but those big guns have pretty decent range, right? You're talking about 24
Yeah,
inches on both the hotshot volley and on the plasma gun. Mind you, if you're not within 12, you're only getting one shot on the plasma, but this is still like kind of a scary position for him. He's got those models readied up on that back line, but I mean, Rouse might not be able to get in close enough to toss the grenade onto the Sorcerer or the Soul Reaper cannon, but this plasma or
yeah,
this hotshot volley gun could really get it done. Trying to look here.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
what?
know. It's such a tough spot for James with this deployment.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking here, right? I imagine Ryan will do a fire and fade onto this back corner objective. I'm not 100% sure,
Hmm.
but in my mind, because that would get him this quadrant. And then if he deep strikes one of those big guns, the hotshot volley gun even, onto this back corner objective, then he's got
Yeah,
all his four of his quadrants for engage on all fronts. Mind you, I know Micro isn't as focused on getting those secondaries turn one, right? He just wants to put himself in a good position to get the board state into his favor so that he can then move the models where they need to be for those objectives. But considering the the model count that he has and the position that Skinner is taking in that back corner, I feel like he could easily get these two other quadrants and set his guns up for shots.
yeah, that's very doable right now.
Still a lot of finagling with
James
this
is
Tzaangor, trying to
moving
figure
that
out.
Tzaangor. Yeah, I think he's just measuring right now to make sure that the models are within like 11 inches of each other.
Yeah,
The
trying to find
Tzaangor and
that
his
sweet
leader. That
spot.
way, no models will be able to kind of deep strike in.
Absolutely. Did
And
you? I was gonna say, what group were you in? I forget. Were you in Skinner's group or no?
no, I
Okay,
wasn't.
okay, okay. Have you seen any of his other matches, or none of them as well as
I
I?
have not. I've
All right.
only heard rumors
Yeah. I mean,
in the dark shadows of our Discord.
yeah. Must have been an interesting. I know his first round matchup was against a Grey Knight player, so you had a psychic on
Yeah,
psychic, which rarely happens in this game. So that
yeah,
must have been an interesting match. Both Grey Knights players got knocked out early on, one by Tau and one by Skinner here with his Thousand Suns. But Uh, gonna be interesting to see how this first turn, plays out. Obviously, right? These Imperial Guard, he's got a lot of guns, he's got some scary stuff, but models obscured. You know, maybe you moved, whatever it is. Although I believe the heavy gun, yeah, he is a heavy specialist, so he's not going to take the negative there. But it's a lot of shots, but at the same time, they're starting. I think you're looking at like a weapon skill on the regular Marines, weapon skill 4. So if something's obscured, you're looking at 5s. Probably 4s for these Scions. Okay. So he is bringing in that Scion, and he's bringing it in center objective. But if you notice, it is in this quadrant over here that he needed to
yeah,
secure his engage on all fronts. So that's it's a pretty
yeah,
solid position. Also, it is not seen by any of the psychics. So that's one thing, right? Skinner definitely has positioned himself here to put all of that psychic into Godfrey, like you were discussing, right? Like it appears that is his plan. Turn one, pump as much damage as I can into Godfrey, and hope for the best.
yeah. Honestly, I'm not even sure if James wants. I don't know what he wants more. If he wants to win this game or if he wants to just kill Godfrey.
Yeah.
Right? And like, the only reason I say that is because I know that him and Tom LaRochelle are good friends, and I know that Tom LaRochelle hates Godfrey with the burning passion of 1,000 suns.
Yeah, well, you say that, but I'm pretty sure he runs him as an Astra Militarum player. So
Oh, he does, but he
yeah,
didn't want to.
yeah,
He
yeah.
does, but he hates that model.
Kind of like me as a Tau player, hating drone spam, but knowing that it is the way.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
all right, so he's brought in that plasma gunner, where he's gonna have shots onto that comm specialist. Both of these guys looking like they're gonna take shots onto that comm specialist. I have to imagine. Um, okay, he's still moving him around a little bit. I'm surprised he didn't. I think I would have put that hotshot volley gun back here potentially. I guess it's difficult to get some shots underneath this. Like I said, he's not as worried about when you look at it, right, he's 100% got hold more already. And
Yeah, so he
there's
doesn't really need more objectives, so
yeah,
I could see him either doubling up on a quadrant where he only has one model, or doubling up on an objective that he's likely to lose. So all of those shoot it's not just the psychers, it's all of his shooting models are kind of in that back corner. So he's kind of free to just deep strike his guys in wherever he wants and not face any reprisals until at least the next turn.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And he's got these plasmas lined up to take some of those shots out, so he might not even there might not even be any reprisal turn 2. We'll see again
Yeah,
how this
we'll
turn
see
1
how it
shooting goes
goes.
out, but um I believe okay, we're looking at a tactic here. Malicious familiar. Oh, okay, yeah, he is going all in on killing Gottfried. Oh, and he rolls a 2. I believe you need a 4 up for that one. Yeah, on a 4 up, they suffer a mortal wound. So, malicious familiar right here for those of you that don't know. Thousand Suns tactic. Use this tactic at the end of the movement phase. Pick an enemy model uh, within 1 inch of your
Oh,
leader and roll a
wow.
d6 on a 4+ enemy model suffers a wound. Oh, wait, is this
That's
the
a
roll
mortal
for it?
wound on Godfrey.
Oh, okay. I thought the 2 was it before, but it
Oh
wasn't.
my
Okay, I missed.
goodness.
Yeah, so, okay, there's the first mortal wound. And now we're going to have 2 psychics. Gottfried is going to the out of
This is
action roll turn 1.
insane.
Oh,
Oh, he's using
adrenaline shot.
what? This is faction knowledge versus faction knowledge right now.
Yeah. So adrenaline shot. Gosh, I wish I had my book with me. I don't have it with me right now. I gotta pull that up. I believe that's one where you can try to um, ignore a mortal wound. Like
Yeah.
most, yeah. So, and if he's using it on that model, I believe it'll be active for the rest of the phase, which means when those psychics come in, he'll have a chance to roll against those as well. Let me pull up the annual here just to be 100% sure on that.
Tom
Tactics.
Rochelle is in the chat saying, I have respect for Gottfried and thinks it's a balanced unit for the faction despite everyone's complaints. I have, however, chosen not to run him to prove a point, and did, in fact. He beat you
Yes, he
on
did.
LVO or at LVO with Imperial Guard
Yeah.
while you
And
were
his
running Grey Knights, and he did not run Gottfried.
yeah, his Yahtzee dice roller and some Scion plasma men made short work of my Grey Knights at that was the
Oh, wow.
final day of LVO, and absolutely I was extremely hungover. I managed to finish my match with Tom, and then I called it quits. Well, Tom was sitting there. I'm sitting there sweating, and Tom's sitting there down in beers across the table from me, and I'm dying from the night before. So Tom had my number that day. That is for sure. Let's see here. So the adrenaline
All right,
shot.
so
It looks like it
yeah,
didn't. It
so
didn't. Oh, never mind. He'll just use it in. Oh, okay, because it's
well,
only
I
active
think
for
he
the rest of the
rolled.
phase. It's only active
Yeah,
for the
I
rest of the
think.
phase. So this would have been movement phase. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So he's popping the adrenaline shot now. Did he already roll one psychic and fail it, or?
I believe he did.
Okay, that's tough to fail that psychic and not have the. It's also terrifying that he didn't have any CP for a reroll, right? Okay, is that the
Is that
sequence?
another psychic? Is
I
that another
believe so.
Cybolt? I think it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. All right. So that first one. Okay. He does with the adrenaline shot there ignore one, I believe. So it's on a 5+ mortal wound is ignored and has no effect. So he's down to 1 wound. He managed to survive. And it's so tough, right? Because he gets that 10, which as a Grey Knight player would be an 11 and get you the D3. And
Right, right.
does not get that as the Thousand Suns player. So able to survive. Gottfried stands with 1 wound, which, to be fair, right? Micro's out of CP as well, so 1 failed, 3 up save.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right now we're seeing shots from the Soulreaper cannon gunner.
yes, we are. 4 shots.
Looks like they
Three
three
of
of them
those hit.
hit.
Yeah, 3 of those hit. I believe all 3 of those wound.
Yeah.
No save here, but it is a damage 1 weapon. And that's a 6. That's a dead plasma gunner. Correct. Yeah, okay. Looks like they're putting the bounty hunter token down, as that is one of Skinner's Okay, I mean this is a pretty positive start for Skinner, right? The only thing that could have gone better here is if Gottfried dies. Although to be fair, if
Right.
Gottfried dies, then his leader is open to a Pious Vorn Flamer. That
I think
comms
that's a
is
good trade. I
yeah,
think that's a good trade for him.
yeah. I mean you're not wrong, right? Gottfried
Like
dead is yeah,
you're gonna be down 1 CP for the remaining turns, but it's like I don't know. I feel like that model is so it's just so much, but it's also like it's
yeah,
also not necessary for micro to win. So I don't know.
yeah. We'll see. All right, so it looks like gonna get some shots here. I'm assuming obscured shots. Looks like he's only going to get 2. He's not going to get the full 4 shots from his Terminator Sorcerer, but it looks like one of those does hit. Going to need a 3 to wound here, I believe. Ah, and he rolls the
It's a
2.
2.
Yeah. So can't manage to take out that other plasma, which is the only other thing that's really threatening the models on that side of the board. These other gunners threatening his comms, but not much else. And yeah, here we go. Pious Born into the comms. And it is against Chaos, so she gets to roll 2d6 and take the higher, I believe, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something that's very overlooked for her.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know I've seen it in the past. Somebody tried to play. I remember first time I went up against it, I think they tried to roll 2d6 and get that many flamer shots. And I was like, that is insane. There's no way
No.
that's the rule. And we looked it up and it was, yeah, you take the higher one. But that'd be
Yeah.
absolutely brutal if she just got 2d6 flamer shots on Chaos.
Yeah.
As if the model wasn't good enough, right? And they even reduced her 1 wound, right? She used to be 3.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
the
she may
annual
have been.
reduced her. Yeah, reduced her down to 2. But what is being rolled over here?
I think it's still her flamer shots.
Well, but that's isn't that Skinner rolling dice right now?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay, those are that's.
Micro's red.
Oh, Micro is red. Okay, he's just using that roller on Skinner's side. That's my bad. That's
Yeah.
what has led to some of my confusion. Okay, so he's gonna
Yeah,
take the 6.
I think they're doing that for your oh, Micro said
No,
that
now
was
he
a
just said,
mistake.
"Oops, I
Okay.
rolled." But yeah,
I thought that was for our convenience so that we wouldn't have to bounce the camera back and forth to the different dice trays. But okay, here comes all those flamer shots and he got every number.
yeah.
He got every number you
One,
can get
two,
on a
three, four,
six-sided
five,
die.
6. So looking at 4 or 5 up saves here.
Yep.
Wow.
All but one. Oh my
Unbelievable.
goodness.
And no CP for the reroll, so we're
Yeah.
looking at an out of action roll here. Only a 2, so the comms is flesh wounded.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still staring down the barrel of at least a hotshot volley gun, if not another plasma, and it looks like Ryan has got a shot on him. So I don't think he's long for this world, but yeah, I mean, the more chances you get at 5 up saves, I guess the better, right?
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like now the aspiring sorcerer is going to put a bolt pistol shot into Pies Vorn.
Okay. Inferno bolt pistol, yeah, not the best. I mean, he's not going to kill anything, right? But I guess if it's the only thing he's got shots at within 12 inches. Looks,
A wound is a wound.
yeah, yeah, there you go. Goes through looking for a wound here. I believe that wounds. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
because
wound
it's
4.
strength 4, toughness 3, right?
And she saves.
Gift it with a 6.
Yeah. All right. I think it's all micro now for the shooting phase. And yeah, it makes sense to shoot with Ryan first because you don't want to eliminate any of his potential targets here so that he can get his fire and fade off. I
Yeah.
believe he still would have had a shot onto that Soulreaper, which is actually surprising me. Wouldn't it make more sense to take the shot against the Soulreaper there, considering your other guys have shots onto that comms? But
Um. Okay, so this is interesting. He's doesn't look like he's moving back onto that
yeah, no, he's
point.
not. Yeah, I mean, like
Which
you
I
said,
mean, well, I'm yeah, it doesn't matter anyway because
yeah,
he's got
exactly.
James doesn't have any objectives under his control.
Yeah, who needs
So
that back objective when you've got all the forward objectives? So,
yeah,
yeah, he's in a good position right now. He's got the hold 1, he's got the hold more. Doesn't need to move him onto that back objective. And now he's got more options for him in turn 2. So here comes the hotshot volley gun onto
Yep.
the comms.
So I believe this will be 4 shots on 3s. All right, that's 2 hits.
3 hits.
This will be wounding on, 3 hits. Wounding on 4s, not a 1.
Not a single
Not
wound there.
a 1.
The little Tzaangor that could, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
really.
all he's got to do, I think he's got 2 more plasma shots coming into him. But if he can survive those, this is this is an effective turn 1 for the 1,000 Suns, I think. Especially, I mean, best case scenario, this Twistbray takes out Godfrey, right? Oh, we forgot about this plasma gunner back here. So we do have, he has 4 plasma shots. It looks like he needs to take.
Yeah. Okay, here they come. It's 1 hit. That's a wound. Single 5 up.
Nope.
Does not get it. This will be an out of action on a 3. It's a 1, so he takes another flesh wound.
Double flesh wounded.
Wow.
All right. This Tzaangor is putting in work. So,
yeah.
I mean, to
Just
be fair,
eating
right?
up those shots.
Yeah, to be fair, those guys had nothing else to shoot at, so he's not super absorbing them, I guess. But yeah, Micro needs this too for the kill one.
For kill one, and then I think he also had. Did he have thin their ranks?
No, he has
and he
bounty.
whiffs with that other plasma gunner. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he has bounty, recon sweep, and engage on all fronts. So he does not. He does not secure to kill one here. And this Twistbray, okay, as you expected.
See, here's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he's
as
moving
you
him a little closer.
Yeah, moved him around, and then now, if he kills Godfrey, then he can move forward onto that objective.
Yeah. This is big brain kill team play right here.
I mean, I didn't see it, but I like I said, I thought he had a plan.
Oh,
2 hits.
That's 2 hits. Eating 3s.
1 wound.
Okay, he got 1.
Oh,
he gets
6
the 3 up.
save.
All right, the dream is dead.
And it's all falling apart just like that. And here comes Godfrey to swing back with his bat.
Oh, jeez.
And no 6s, so no exploding shots yet.
Yeah. Needing 3s. Or, sorry,
4s.
No, needing 4s.
4s, yeah.
Yep, because he's Catachan. Oh, that's 2.
2 5
James
up saves
needs
here.
5 5s. Or 2 5s.
Not a single
Doesn't
one.
get 1.
So
okay.
he needs anything other than a 1 here takes this model out of action, right? Or no, sorry.
No.
I was thinking of the guy who was
It's a 3, so it takes a flesh wound.
Yeah, flesh wound. I was thinking of the guy back here, the comms that was flesh wounded.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's why I forgot it was not the Twistbray leader who took those flesh wounds. So wow. So no out of action. Not a single model goes out of action in that turn 1 because these Twistbrays have put in absolute work. Tzaangor is in full effect tonight.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah, and even
that Twistbray just absorbing, or I'm sorry, that Tzaangor comm specialist is just eating all of those plasma shots. The hotshot volley gun shots. I'm pretty sure Ryan shot at him as well.
Yeah, Ryan shot at him as well. Pretty much, yeah. Ryan, hotshot volley, and I believe 2 plasma guns because I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot. He
So
did
that's like
take out
9
that
shots.
He did take out that plasma gun earlier, so actually Skinner does get the kill more here.
Kill more is
kill 1. Sorry,
yeah, kill 1. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, so that's
score is 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think the board state right now is looking as best as James could have hoped for. Honestly,
considering the deployments where they were, and then how he deployed, and then how he kind of set up this machine to take out Godfrey. I mean, Godfrey's not dead, but he's down to 1 wound, and Skinner didn't lose a single model, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good board state.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a
All
9
right,
for Micro
so
and a 7 for Skinner. So Micro's got the initiative here. Oh, whoop, that's me hitting that. My bad. I was rotating the camera. So we're on 2. Battle round 2.
turn 2.
And
All
Skinner
right.
retains his CP, right? Because his leader
Because his
is not
leader's
dead.
still
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is I mean, right? It's a
This
dice
is
game.
this is what happens when you enter the top of turn 1 shooting and neither you nor your opponent have have any CP for attack reroll.
Yeah,
It's just
no
nothing
rerolls.
dies.
Yeah, no rerolls, no out of action rerolls, and I mean, just brutal to roll into that 1, right? When all you needed was a 3. But
Yeah.
all right, Skinner is spending 1 for decisive move here. Any thoughts on what this move might be?
I almost want to say the Tzaangor comms is going to go into Godfrey and just try to lock it down.
Lock him down? Okay. I could
Yeah,
see
and
that.
then we could see some Cybolts go into him. Um, Not really sure what else could be happening here.
Yeah, and honestly, this is also I think best
Yep,
case
here it comes.
yeah, best case scenario for Skinner because Micro's got the initiative, right? So Micro
Yeah,
can move out and put these guns wherever he wants them, but Skinner can kind of counter
he
that,
can
right?
counter, he can
Yeah.
hide his Psychers, he can hide his Gunner, or he can set up his Gunner for a favorable firefight with another model.
Hmm.
So yeah, now we see Gottfried is locked up here, is not going to be able to move, and so
Yeah.
those I expect the Cybolts to go into him.
Yeah. Unfortunate though, he did just measure the comms is not in range of the Soul Reaper cannon anymore, so he can't ready that up. But I don't know that he'll need to, considering Micro's got to move all his models first anyway. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, I I think that was a good move. And I mean, it's a Space Marine, you know.
Yeah.
They have a base 3 up.
Oh no, for sure.
He's
He's in a
shooting 4 shots, and he's a demo, so he wants to be shooting models that are in cover anyway. So
yeah, and he's got
would be
the
nice. So it looks like Pious Warren is countercharging.
oh yeah, countercharging onto both of the Zangors here. Okay. She gets it with an 8.
Definitely gets in.
Yeah.
I think she'll be able to get within an inch of both. Or yeah, probably just wants to get in with the model that has actually charged.
Yeah, the one that is a little bit scarier this turn. Although with 2 flesh wounds, I don't know how scary that Zangor comms is, but having some model issues over there.
Yeah.
Part of playing on Tabletop Simulator, got a little bit of wiggle room with these models, so measuring,
Yeah.
ensuring. It looks like he's on both of them by that measurement anyway.
Yep.
So do you think Skinner tries for Malicious Familiar again here? Or do you think
I
he
mean,
just
it's a 4 up, right? It's a 4 up, and it
yeah,
baits out 1 CP from Micro. So, and here's
yeah,
the thing: he needs a 4 up to inflict that mortal wound, and Micro needs a 5 up to ignore that mortal wound. So
yeah.
I think the math works out that, and he spent 1 CP on decisive move already. Um, I mean, it could be well worth it.
I'm terrified for his
Could be
psychic
well worth
because
it.
as a psychic player, those those
Yeah,
double ones,
right.
double
That's the
sixes
thing.
come up, and he had yeah,
If
he
he
had no
perils,
CP.
everything in that corner is gonna die.
Yeah, he had
So
no CP last turn. I was holding my breath when he was rolling those psychics because I was like, okay, if either one of them does it, everything he has is gone, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
sometimes you just gotta have faith that the dark gods are favoring you. You know.
I mean Zeech
So
definitely appears to be favoring Skinner tonight. So
yeah, for sure.
let's see. All right, so moved up Ryan into an even more forward position here. Like Ryan is just slowly moving his way up this battlefield. Not where you expect to see him, but I guess when there's not as many threats to come back at you, he can kind of move him wherever he wants. Oh, and just as I say that, he's pulling him back. So any thoughts, I guess, on the board state here if you're micro? What are you looking to do? Just give yourself like as wide of a spread with your guns as possible to make it more difficult for Skinner to hide from you? Are you looking to further push up the board? Looks like he is moving that leader onto that back objective. Again, no real threat from deep strike for Skinner. So what would you be looking to do if you were a micro here?
I need a model in every quadrant of the board, which I believe he already has here, or he is going to have very soon. Rouse still is yet to come on the board. So we need. If I'm micro, I need Godfrey to live. I don't even think I need Godfrey to live. It's just like that's where all the action is, so that's where my mind is going.
Yeah.
Um, I'd probably want to kill the lone Tzaangor, who's kind of just out in the open by himself.
Hmm.
That way like James is basically gonna be confined
Okay.
to his space there. And then yeah, what he's doing right here with readying up these models, the plasma gunner and the heavy the hot shot volley gunner, excuse
Yeah.
me, that weapon name is so long.
I know.
Um,
I always think it's heavy at the
he's
start too.
effectively playing area denial and just waiting for James to come out and try to challenge him, because it's like, okay, if you're gonna come out, you're gonna eat plasma, you're gonna eat this hot shot volley gun first before you can get your shots off.
Yeah.
And in front of both of those models, guess who's there? It's Ryan. He's got 2 wounds, so he'll just eat those Cybolts. So we can see here, Micro has kind of fallen back a little bit with his other plasma gunner and kind of moving away from that objective.
Yeah. The other thing that I
So here's
noticed
the thing.
here that we didn't really comment
Yeah,
on before is the Pious Vorn positioning onto that 2 flesh wounds. Okay, but it also puts her as the closest model to both of his psych heirs right now, right? After he put all
that's
that
right.
work into trying to take out Gottfried, now Gottfried is somewhat protected by his current position.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if I'm James, I would want to do Malicious Familiar
Hmm.
and use it on Godfrey,
Yeah.
because like that's the I don't know, it's so scary with Psychic because you never know what's going to happen and you're going to need that CP.
Yeah. The other thing that's scary,
Um
right? On the other side of the container, if he moves his psychers that way, oh, look who's there. It's Ryan with his 2 wounds is the closest model that you're gonna have at you.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
this is what I was
It's
talking
kind
about
of
earlier in the pregame kind of is just all these multiple wound models that you have that you can just throw in front of your guns in your back line.
yeah. Yeah, this Imperial Guard build, honestly, I think it has a lot more in common with Astroyani than it does like what people think of when they think Astra Militarum, you know what I mean? Just because of all these 2 wound models they can bring,
Oh
all
yeah,
the
for sure.
like the quality close combat, the
Yeah.
invulns, the movement.
Yeah. I see it. I see what you're saying. I mean that is maybe not the same quickness, but probably more effective weapons behind the 2 wound models. So
Yeah, that's the thing too, is you also have access to a ton of hard hitting ranged weapons.
yeah, or flamers, or pretty much anything you could possibly want.
Yeah.
So
So I think Micro has finished up here, and I think we're on to James' turn 2 movement now.
yeah, so I mean, if you're James, right, you're still scared of Rouse coming in with this grenade. And again, he's
With the
familiar with
demo
all these
charge,
things
yeah.
because he's played against Tom enough times that he knows what Astra Militarum has at its disposal, right? So just mulling over some decisions here, it looks like, for Skinner. Kind of trying to figure out what he wants to do. As we've talked about, he's got multiple 2 wound models sitting in front of him. So maybe you kind of pick one, right? And right now, I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it
He's got
doesn't.
to choose one and just go all in on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense for him to go for Ryan on this side of the board, right? Because that's where all the guns are. That's where everything can see you. At this point, considering where Micro has moved his stuff, he really still can't see anything. Mind you, right? Like this is fine for Micro. Micro doesn't need to shoot models to get ahead. He's still holding the only objectives in the game. He still has chances to kill things like the Tzaangor back here and the two Tzaangors in combat. He still has like there's a lot of options for him.
Yeah.
And the fact is like it's only a 4 round game, so you're playing this cat and mouse. You're trying to kill Godfrey. You're trying to kill Pious Vorm, whatever it is. But next thing you look up at the scoreboard and it's turn 3 and you're down, however many points it is, and now you only have so many ways and you need the dice to fall a certain way to absolutely max out what you need to catch up and score. Let's see. So he moved up that
I
demo.
really like this move of the Soulreaper cannon.
Yeah,
He's setting him up to line up some shots on Micro's leader model, which moved onto that, I guess that top left objective if you're
rear
looking
objective. Yeah.
like straight down. Um, and now he's within 3 inches of the comm specialist, so he'll be able to get. Let's see, it's at long range but ignoring obscurity, and it gets +1, so that'll still, and it's a heavy weapon, but with the all is dust ability, it ignores the moving with a heavy weapon penalty. So I think that'll be 4 shots, still hitting on threes.
Yeah. Well, he's not ignoring the
Yeah,
obscurity, right? It
excuse
just
me, he's
adds
not
1 to
ignoring
the obscurity.
obscurity.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
correct.
adds 1 to the wound rolls there. So no, it is an effective position. And the other thing is, if he's able to kill that leader, I mean, mind you, Ryan can still do his fire and fade onto another objective. I think potentially that one on Skinner's side of the board, but he doesn't really have any models. Like let's say they're able to kill this Godfrey. If this Twistbray is able to move onto that objective, like I think there's a potential that they could both have hold one. If this goes the way that
Yeah,
Skinner wants it to, but we'll see here.
here's the other thing as well. I think that killing the leader is a huge boon for that would be a huge boon for James, just because of the all of the orders that the leader model can do, the move, 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 like we were
Yeah.
talking
Hmm.
about earlier. So honestly, when right before my matchup with Micro, my plan was to try to kill his leader as fast as possible to deny him all of that free movement coming from move, move, move,
Yeah.
being able to fight first with the fixed bayonets, or not fight first, but like fight during the shooting phase.
Fight twice. Yeah, which
Um,
is extremely
yeah,
scary. Yeah.
yeah.
Not so much with
And
this
then,
lineup, right? Because you can't use it on the specialist reserves here, and he doesn't really have like that medic or anything like that with the power fist or the chainsword. But yeah, it is
yeah,
scary in other matchups.
I think James's game plan here is to kill his leader and then try to kill Pious Vorn and Godfrey by turn 3, and then
Hmm.
just try to get Micro to break.
Yeah. I mean, I see the potential in it, right? But you're counting on a lot of things, and you look at right. Both of his sorcerers are just hanging out back here in this corner, right? Like this is a huge, scary two
Yeah,
wound Terminator model with psychic ability and like effective in combat. Same with this aspiring sorcerer, and they're just chilling back here having a meeting, right? Everybody, else is out on the board. Okay, we are
yeah.
gonna see Rouse come in here. It looks like movement is over. Rouse is gonna come in, try to come in. I don't think he is going to set up for the grenade use on that Tzaangor,
No,
but
yeah.
not exactly
Um,
what he wants to use it on. But he's going to set himself up and give the rerolls to his buddy Ryan, I guess.
in order to give the full rerolls, oh no, I don't think they have to be within a certain distance from each other. They
Nope.
just both need to have line of sight on the same target.
Yes, they need to have line again another broken part of this duo, but yes, they just need to have line of sight. They don't even need to have line of sight of each other. I think they've got walkie talkies.
I
They
mean,
just
makes sense, right?
yeah, yeah, laser pointers, walkie talkies.
Yeah,
More. That's what I wish marker lights were, right? But not nearly as effective as what Ryan
that's
and
what I
Rouse have
was
going
just
on.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
All
that's our
right.
first
So
psychic.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that definitely goes off using Adrenal Shot on Pius.
Okay, so he will be out of CP then, correct?
I think yes, yeah, because he used one for outflank, and then he rolled 2d6. Oh,
Yeah.
it's because that's literally how that thing works. Looking for a 5. The second one also goes off, and he only made one of those. So I think Pius is going to the injury table here.
It says on a 5+, the mortal wound is ignored. I don't know why he's rolling the dice, the 2 dice. That was confusing for me, but
Right. Yeah. Okay, so Micro's taking away the CP for the use of that, and then... Okay, so it doesn't look like Pius is going to be going to the injury table.
I'm confused on the
And
2 dice there. Yeah,
that
who
must be
knows?
the end of the psychic phase.
Yeah, I guess so if he's using move, move, move. Oh, and her feel no pain. Got it.
Oh, of course.
Got it. Okay. All right. That makes sense then. Okay. That does make sense. He just rolled them together. Considering one, they do the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. So okay. So she does take 1 wound, but not what he wanted, right? You really, when you're pumping both of those into one model, you're hoping you can take it out. But when you consider feel no pain, you consider all the tactics that they have at their disposal. That can be tough.
Oh, and here's... Okay. Yeah.
Securing that
So,
quadrant.
remember
Yeah.
how the Rubric Gunner had lined up a shot on the leader?
Hmm.
Now he's still going to be able to score that engage on all fronts secondary just by
Yep.
moving that model back
Yep.
there.
Smart move, solid, effective, keeps him in the engage on all fronts, and just in case his leader does die. Which, if your leader does die, if he is trying to get you to that break or do anything like that. Okay, there's a wound on the hotshot volley, I believe, against the Tzaangor there. Needs a 5-up, gets a 4, so you're looking at a 1 damage out of action here. Oh, wait. Why is he rolling again?
Um,
Oh, did he use a reroll? I think he used a reroll there. But it's a
oh, he
flesh
must
wound.
have.
It's a flesh wound.
Another flesh wound.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah. And I mean, interestingly enough, right? He's got is it models wounded or is it number of flesh wounds? Like would he go to a break test here or no? Because he's at 4 flesh
It's...
wounds, but it's only on 3 models.
Yeah, so he's not going to risk a break test here because there's only 3 models with flesh
Okay.
wounds. You need to either have... you
Oh,
got to have more than half of your team either out of action or flesh wounded to force a break test. That Tzaangor will have to make a
and
nerve
that
test,
was
though.
just the shots from our demo onto the leader, and I believe he killed him with a 4 on out of action there. At least I think that's who the shots were on.
Yep, looks like they're
Yeah,
putting the bounty
there
token
you
down
go.
now.
So good thing Micro did move
So
that
that is...
plasma gunner into
Yeah,
position, but he does take
that
out
is
that leader.
one cog in the machine that has been taken out.
Yeah, but now you just got to wonder, right? Okay, he's taken out that cog. He's eliminated the leader. He's going to only be down to 1 CP per turn. Potentially he is as well, right? His leader might go down here. But you just got to think, Micro was thinking ahead, right? He moved this model over here with move, move, move to ensure that he's still got that engage on all fronts because if things do start to deteriorate, he wants as much of a lead as possible before he falls into that, region of no return, I guess, on Okay, Micro was using the other roller over here again, and it looks like Ryan was not able to take out the Tzaangor. Rouse is going to take his shots now. Looks like with just his pistol. I think he hits there.
That's a wound.
Yeah, and here's the save. 4,
Nope.
so going to... Back to this dice
Is
roller.
this the shot? Oh my gosh.
That's the
Yep.
shot. The pistol shot.
Yep.
After all the plasma, after all the hotshot volley, the sniper rifles, everything that he's put into these Tzaangors, the first kill comes from Rouse's pistol. Interesting.
It's a 9-inch useless stub pistol.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. But okay. If he goes around it, if he's going over it, I think you've still got to measure the upward movement, right?
Yeah, they are 2.5 inches in height. So I think he's just going to keep him on the corner there.
Gotcha.
Or try to move him enough to pick up that bounty token. Which
Yeah.
he very well can do, I believe.
Yeah.
What's their movement here.
I actually think
6-inch movement.
yeah, I think he was just keeping it. He moved a
We'll
little
see.
bit forward, kept himself out of line of sight from the other scarier models, and he's thinking about moving up
Right,
next
right.
turn. Yeah,
All
which
right, so
again,
now we've got Pious Vorn into the Brayhorn here.
yeah, that's the thing, right? You spend for this decisive move, but the initiative is still belongs to Pius, so she's gonna get to go first here. Might be the discussion that they're having.
Oh, that's right. Elk Knuckle in the chat. We were talking about Rouse going up and over those crates. Rouse has a grapnel hook, just like a Space Marine Reaver. So he ignores
Oh
vertical
wow.
terrain
Okay, good
up to
for
like a
him.
certain. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that is a
Um,
wound.
uh,
Gets a
Tom
save.
said that.
The comms continues
Oh
to
no
survive, or
way.
the leader continues to survive. Yeah.
Tom in the chat said that Ryan and Rouse are literally holding walkie talkies. It's
Yeah.
not broken.
Yeah. So here we go. He needs
You're
another
telling
save
me
here.
that Space Marines don't have.
Does not get the save. So the save first was on the comms. These are the other two attacks. He split the attacks, and that takes the leader out. So the leader is dead now. So the first two attacks went into comms. He made the 5-up save on the comms. He survives with his 2 flesh wounds. The second two attacks went into the leader, 1 wounded, and no save, and that's a 4 to take him out of action. Sorry to interrupt. I was just catching up on what was going on there. Yeah, the walkie-talkies. No, I know they can relay positions. They can grapnel over stuff. They can fire and fade. They can. They have 2 wounds. There's nothing overpowered about these models at all.
Yeah. If it's in the lore, it's not a broken model, guys. That's how game balance is done in Kill Team.
I know. Well, that's one of the worst things too. I remember at LVO, somebody had brought the Reavers against me, and he's rolling, and he rolled a charge, and he's like, "Oh, I ignore the," and I was like, "No, dude, you got to look at the rules. It doesn't work for charges." It was the most feel
No,
bad moment that guy had ever
it
had, I think.
is.
But
That's why you like Reavers would be great if that was the way that worked.
yeah, if they could ignore vertical terrain for charges and stuff too,
Yeah.
right? Because you'd think, right, they're trying to swing into combat, they're trying to be these like really forward combat units, and they're not good at it. And the one thing
Yeah.
that could potentially, even then, even with the grapnel, they wouldn't be as the most effective unit you could put into melee. But oh wow, look at
They'd
that,
be
another
very mobile.
rolled 5 dice this time, and he got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he gets an extra shot from the 6, and I believe 3 of those wound against this calm. So we're looking for 3 5-ups. Can he do it? Wow, he rolls 2 6s. Again, last time he rolled 3 out of the 4 as 6s, so anything but a 1 takes his comms out. All right, there he is. Comms is dead. And it's all starting to turn here on Skinner, yeah?
Yeah, I would say so.
So he's going to pick up, that'll be his second bounty token, I believe, getting picked up. And then, he's pumped all this psychic into these, what Gottfried and Pius Vorn is 5 wounds worth of models, and he's taken 3 of them off, but he hasn't been able to kill a single, either one of them. So uh, this is starting to fall apart here because these guys that are left, they're gonna have to make a break. No, I guess no break test yet because it is just the 3 models out. But these guys are gonna have to do
Yeah.
some work in turn 3 and turn 4, right? And you're talking about the leader's gone, so he's only gonna have 1 CP per turn. You're still gonna have your psychics, but uh, I don't know. And you've got Gottfried and Pius on this side blocking him from an objective. You've got Rouse and his terrifying grenade, as well as a bunch of shots on the other side. It's possible that Skinner could not get onto a single objective in this game.
Yeah, very much so.
Uh, we'll see how things turn
Oh
out.
man. Yeah. The initiative roll in this upcoming turn is gonna be huge.
Yeah. There's the second recon sweep and the second engage on all fronts. 2 bounty hunters, so you're looking at 8 to 2 here. which is yeah, it's tough. I mean, he's got this, of all the things, right? We discussed like, oh, I don't know about this Soul Reaper cannon. The Soul Reaper cannon is responsible for the 2 points that Skinner currently has. He killed the plasma turn 1, and then he killed the leader turn 2. So it's been the most
Yeah.
effective model on the board. Mind you, the leader and the comms did a lot of work to potentially, soaking up all those flesh wounds. You were looking at potentially taking out Gottfried turn 1 if it weren't for that pesky tactic, or I think a failed psychic. I forget which, but yeah. See here the initiative. Oh, yeah, this might be it because Micro just won the initiative, so
Yeah.
Pius and Gottfried are coming in to effectively block off this side. Even if you, and I mean, like, right, we've already discussed this how Micro uses Gottfried. I don't think at this point, with the lead you have being 11-2, the board state as it is, I don't think you're super concerned about losing Gottfried if you send him in here. But I could be wrong,
Oh
right?
no. Because
You
he
would.
can just lock all those models up very easily with like
Hmm.
a what is that? Probably like an 8-inch charge at most or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
looks like Skinner's thinking about a decisive here, and they're discussing whether or not these models could get by, whether the Terminator at least could get by the
Ooh.
Soul Reaper cannon, which I don't
I don't
believe
know
he
about
could.
the Terminator. The aspiring sorcerer definitely can though.
Yeah. Still, right? That's all his CP to get into combat with Gottfried and Pius Vorn.
Yeah, just so that two other models will be able to do stuff. Ah, yeah, this is such a tough spot, and the lead is so large.
Yeah, this is I mean, this is a Hail Mary move here, right? I guess if you can get in on both of them, right? If you can psychic them down, I mean, you almost don't want to psychic them down, right? Because then your
I
aspiring sorcerer is sitting there in the open. If you make this charge, that is. Which that's the thing, right? He could spend this for decisive move and then fail this charge. He's got no CP to reroll.
all right. So he has spent the CP.
Okay. Elk, I missed that. I'm not 100% sure. Uh,
I
the
think
the
Elk may
wounds
be
there,
right because he rolled.
because the Tzaangors are T4, right?
Yeah, Tzaangors are
And he made
T4.
a number of those saves, but yeah, I'm not
He
100%
made he
sure.
made 2 out of the 3 saves, and
Yeah.
Godfrey inflicted 3 wounds. Yeah.
Not 100% sure on that. People do miss stuff. Stuff does get, glossed over, or people forget rules in the heat of the moment. You're moving quick, lots of dice being rolled. That is the one nice thing about these rollers is that they record the dice. Although Micro actually, oh, we can scroll up. I forgot Micro like created a script to put his dice into the chat here. Uh,
Yeah, I remember him rolling 2 sixes and a 3 on the
yeah,
wound
two
table.
sixes and 1 3 is what it looks like. Yeah. So I guess maybe that model should still be alive, but unfortunately they've progressed through the game here. It wasn't caught. Um, but good looking out there, Elk Knuckle. You know, I don't know how much of a difference that would have made in this game, to be fair. But
And yeah, I mean, it's basically freed up and led to all of the action that we are seeing right now.
yeah,
But in the grand scheme of the game, it probably isn't going to have that big of an impact.
yeah, and I don't think. Okay, does the 6 get him there? The 6 might get him there if they're, you know,
Mm,
no.
oh no. Oh
Uh,
no. Well, does it get him within Pius?
I don't think it gets him in within Pius, unless he goes up and over, but that'd be 2.5 inches up. Okay, is he just gonna leave him there? Okay, he's moved him out there. So, I mean, I guess that still does kind of, I guess, saves his Terminator from being charged, right? You're not gonna. I don't know.
It does create like a winding path to them,
Yeah, or
and
I guess right
all
over
3
the
of these
container.
models are gonna have to be declared as targets of the charge,
Yeah.
right? So you're gonna be looking at, oh geez, like 9 shots in total,
I mean, I guess they could
you
go up and
know?
over, right? The container. He
Yeah, they totally could,
could go
yeah.
around there. Be a longer charge to make,
And
but
Pius is,
less Overwatch.
re-rolling her charges. My goodness. His faction just has, like, every tool that you could
Yeah,
have in the Kill Team toolbox, I feel.
I know. That's why I put them ahead of Drukhari for this tournament too. I mean, Drukhari obviously
Mm,
getting it done. I think that has to do also with the number of players playing them, right? Number of good players playing them. But yeah, Drukhari definitely have the tools. Astra Militarum got them, especially with all these freaking reserve specialists, whatever nonsense that they have going on. They have a lot of different things because this is, I think, the first time I've seen him use Pius too, right? But it Pius fits the matchup
I
when you
think
look at it.
so.
So
Yeah.
um, it's kind of like I always talk about with the Azuryani or Eldar is just like you were just comparing them to that, right? With the multiple wound models and the weaponry behind them and all this kind of stuff. And it's like the Eldar have so many of these things as well, and so many good options, so many good melee options, shooting options, tactics, all kinds of stuff that they have at their disposal. Good grenades, all the aspects of the game. Some of these teams just it really obviously any team can win any game, right? It's a dice game.
Yeah.
You're talking about the pilot, you're talking about all these other things, but it is why some of these better players are drawn to some of these teams is because they look at them, and if you're not worried about the lore or what you think is cool or what your models look like, and maybe you just like that team. I'm not saying people who play these teams don't care about that stuff, but I'm saying if you're just looking for the most effective teams, you're going to find the teams that have all of these options, right?
Yeah.
Different gunners, different weapons, different, tactics, different, all this kind of stuff. You're going to look for teams that, okay, this team, I can put a roster together that can effectively take on any other team in any other deployment, in any other situation, whether it's psychic, whether it's shooting, whether it's, mind you, they don't have psychic, but they have the extra wound models to go up against it. So,
Yeah. And it's worked out well here.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
nobody can say that Micro is like a true power gamer who only cares about
Oh, no,
playing the
not at
most
all. Not
powered
at all.
faction, because look at the models he's using. They're all
Yeah,
Chaos, Necromunda, Cultist models.
he would
Because
love to be running his Heretic Astartes.
he just refuses to serve the Imperium.
Yeah. He would love to be playing his Heretic Astartes here. I know I saw him talking to the Discord. I forget who it was, but somebody's running the Heretic Astartes in Fight Club, and they felt absolutely demoralized after their first match. And Micro chimed in and said, "Yeah, I really wish I could have played them in this, but it just is not their packet,
Yeah, yeah,
or at least not their map for this packet."
yeah.
So, uh, you know, Skinner had a very interesting, I think, strategy that he set up here. Almost came through for him on that turn one with that Godfrey kill. But, just in general, when you're talking about model count, you're talking about what the Astra Militarum can bring to the table. It feels like a lot of different armies are starting off on the back foot against them, right? When you look at what you have to get through and what you
For
have to
sure.
do. So starting out on the back foot, you got to come up with interesting ideas, right? We saw, some interesting stuff in the game that we streamed earlier this week with the Tau versus the Jukari, where Alec brought in the stealth suit and put him in the center of the table and tried to do some interesting things there. You had thought about a grotesque in your matchup against Micro
I
because
had
again, you
I had thought about that
yeah,
grotesque.
because you had started off, you felt like with the board the way it was. So sometimes when you're in these situations, you have to look at your roster and you have to go, okay, maybe I'm looking for a Hail Mary move here. And that kind of felt like what Skinner was doing with the familiar and the double psychic and all this kind of stuff. But lo and behold, Astra Militarum have a tactic for it. I'm going to deny you, your mortal wounds.
On a 5-up for the remainder of the phase.
Yeah, yeah.
And he played that tactic twice because it was in different phases.
And I believe both times, the first turn it saved Godfrey, right? And the second turn it saved Pius. So
Yeah.
it worked. It was effective. I mean, mind you, Pius, actually, I don't know if the tactic saved Pius or if her feel no pain saved Pius, but either way, it gave him double
Yeah.
double the chances to effectively fight that psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, So there goes Godfrey, right? Godfrey goes, I'm not going to die. And to be fair,
Nope.
leaving Pious there makes sense because she is the most effective with the Feel No Pain to take those psychics. So you've moved her away. Um, yeah, I'm not, Skinner's not the kind to concede, as far as I can tell. I'm really not seeing a way. He's down by 9 points right now. And I don't think he,
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's mathematically possible
yeah, so,
given his secondaries and his just the board state.
yeah. I'm not even sure, depending on how good the advance would be, right? If that aspiring sorcerer survived, it's possible that next turn he could get into recon sweep to get 1 point in that turn 4. But he
Yeah.
still hasn't been onto a single objective. And a lot of those, right? That bounty hunt, that first bounty token from that plasma gunners, pretty far away at the moment, and that second one for the leader, that is very far away. So I don't think either one of those, at least certainly not the leader one, is getting picked up in the next 2 turns. So there goes Rouse picking up that token as we discussed, putting himself in the sights of that sorcerer. But again, at this point, I think he's feeling pretty good about that, considering he has the 2 wounds and only one of the psychic attacks could go in on him. So we might see a ready up here on this demo. He was just measuring it over to Rhine. Uh, and, I have the feeling Rhine's going to fire and then fade right out of vision here. So if you don't ready that
Yeah.
demo, I don't know that he's getting shots on Rhine.
I think we're gonna see a psychic go into Rhine. Well, actually, I don't know that because James hasn't moved his models yet.
Yeah.
All
And I
right,
mean,
so the demo's setting up.
looks like for shots on Rouse, yeah. So he's moved to
Uh,
fire at Rouse.
uh, would not be surprised to see a charge from the Occult Sorcerer here.
So see, the scary thing about this is he was measuring to Rhine, right? But Rhine has 2 wounds, so even if you manage to take the Pious out with your first psychic, then you're only going to take off 1 wound, right? I mean, potentially there's the potential for the large D3, but
Yeah,
um,
he's hoping for that. He's hoping for that.
this is a difficult position for him to be remeasuring there. Just kind of trying to get an idea of, I guess, where he could go. But also, I think he's just moved himself to the point that if Pius wants to spread those flamer shots around, she's going to be more than welcome to. Yeah, we could be looking at a barbecue here if Pius doesn't go down. And with 1 CP in his back pocket, I could absolutely see Micro using the tactic again to give himself the feel no pain and the tactic reroll, or the tactic roll at ignoring those flesh or the mortal wounds. So, oh, this is yeah, looking tough here. So I guess we're gonna continue to follow this, obviously. But is there any of the other matchups? Do you have any feeling on how they're gonna go? The Drukhari versus the Admech, or the Drukhari versus the Astra Militarum. All right, that's the first psychic, and it does go off against Pious Vorn. So let's see if Micro uses that tactic.
I feel like it's unnecessary at this state of the game,
Agreed.
honestly.
Agreed. He might want to save the reroll to try to get it out of action. I mean, not that he needs to. Yeah, Adrenal. Okay, there you go.
He's doing it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, he put the CP back. Cancel that. Okay, there you go.
Um, I think the Drakari have the advantage over the AdMech in their matchup,
Hmm.
just because I've seen the AdMech roster and it does not have that same maneuverability that Drakari can bring to the table.
Yeah, and there goes Pious Warren. She does get taken out. So
And then what was the other matchup? Astra Militarum
yeah,
versus.
Drukhari again. So
I think that one is still a toss up, honestly.
yeah,
it really did. I think it all comes down to what deployment
Yeah, and I
is.
haven't looked. Is Roshest? Do you know? Is he running the Catachan as well?
I would
Oh,
assume so. I'm not sure if he is, but
yeah. And again,
if any other
so very
Astra
close to the
Militarum roster
D3.
came through, oh
He gets a 10, but no D3, so he's just got the one wound down on Rhine. But yeah, I know a lot of people, had been looking at the effectiveness of the uh, Delarn, or oh gosh, I forget how to say it. I'm bad at uh,
Talarn,
Talarn. Yeah, Talarn, not Delarn.
yeah.
Talarn. Talarn, but maybe not so much on this map. I know it made a lot more sense to have the Catachan, especially with Gottfried. So I imagine that's what Roshus is running as well. Oh, has Skinner has left?
He disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just waiting for him to reconnect, and then we will resume
Okay, yeah.
our coverage.
Yeah. So it's no, I mean this is okay, he's still talking on Discord, so he's still there. He's just getting reconnected to the game. That's good. Yeah. The Astra Militarum versus Drukhari should be an interesting matchup. Obviously we have seen that uh play out once already. It'll be interesting. I haven't watched any of Rosh's games, but I know he's one of the up and coming ELO players right now. I think he's like
Yeah,
on
for
a
sure.
4 or 5 game winning streak or something like that, and just propelling him up the heights of the ELO uh, ladder right now. So I definitely am interested in that matchup. I believe that is against Manco. Let's jump over really quick to the bracket. Yeah, that's him versus Manco, who is another really good player, solid Drukhari player. So that should be a good matchup. And then it's Ray J versus Dangerfro and his Drukhari. Like you said, I do agree. Admech not as good of a matchup. You really would have to, I think, roster tinker to have that Drukhari matchup pegged for the Admech. Like to have the models that okay, if I go up against them, this is what I'm going to take. And maybe, I'm not sure if Ray J has that on the roster, like you were saying. So,
Yeah. I mean, Ray J has, I mean, he beat out Matt H, man, you know? This dude can definitely pull some rabbits out of his hat, so to speak.
yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, it's a dice game, right? At the end of the day, it's a dice game. Plus, interesting things like this, right? Like, we had Byrnid pull out the. Let me get the promote here. We had Byrnid pull out the interesting Tau list that he did in one of our games. We had Alec bring the stealth suit. We had this lineup from Skinner with this magic Gottfried killing machine turn one strategy. So it's possible that there could be something you overlook or you're not expecting, and next thing you know, here we go back into the game. I believe this is Micro taking shots now. But I think we did get a save there. Yeah, okay. That was the hotshot volley gunner, and we did get the saves from Skinner, so he survives. Next shooting. These guys aren't ready, though. Shouldn't it go over here to the Soulreaper cannon? Or was this one ready? Oh, this one was. So okay, it's Micro's first unreadied shot. Okay, my bad.
Yep.
Hotshot was readied, so this is his first unreadied shot. Shot of plasma. Was that slow rolling those? Not sure. Might have been, but either way. Here comes the demo shots into Rouse. Would be interesting. Again, this Soul Reaper is the only thing that's been doing work so far, really. We had one Psychic finally go through. Or at least has been putting models off the board. The Psychic has been doing work.
Yes.
It's just been
Yeah.
removing wounds from multiple wound models. So 3 hits. Looks like 2 wounds. Oh.
That's a dead Rouse.
That's no save there. Yeah, so that's a dead Rouse. Okay. So this Soul Reaper cannon, as much as we both weren't sure about it in the pregame, looks like it's paid for itself.
Yeah,
It's taken out a Plasma turn 1, a Leader turn 2, and now Rouse turn 3, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Rouse was not able to
yeah,
really do much. He did kill somebody with his pistol, not what we're used to seeing Rouse do. We're used to seeing him come in and toss that absolutely horrific grenade into somebody's face, but
yeah. Then completely whiff with it, and then just move anyway.
yeah, yeah. And then still, yeah, get his fire and fade onto an objective and put him in a good
Yeah,
position. I believe these are more plasma shots coming in now onto the Sorcerer. So we're looking for 6 up saves. Doesn't get it. Nope, but he appeared. Okay, gonna re-roll that, otherwise it was fleshed. Still flesh. So 1 flesh wound. Okay, that was onto the Terminator. Can you see him? I thought that was onto the Sorcerer. I could be wrong.
his Combi-Bolter is sticking out there a little bit,
Gotcha. Okay,
so
yeah.
that's probably what he was drawing line of sight to.
Yep.
He'll be shooting back into Rhine.
Yeah. I mean, I think considering Ryan
Is
hasn't
it
fired yet.
possible? Is it possible for Oh, I don't know if it's possible just because
Oh,
of
he's looking.
Godfred's leadership.
Maybe he's gonna split shots here into these two guys.
Yeah, because if he's able to take a few more models off the board, we could see a break test here. I don't think he'd be able to get the points to catch up, but that would be a
Yeah.
crazy end to this game.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Is like as effective as this has all been, it's leaving him at a point where we're going to be going in. Even if he breaks him, you're going into turn 4, and how many points can you score in one turn? Not 9, I don't think. So
No.
so it looks like it's just the both plasmas, not the hot shot.
Yep, yep. So the first two are into the one closest, of course, because you want to take that one out first. That way the second one isn't going to benefit from cover if you're able to kill that one model. That's a 6. So this is a AP2?
There's no save there. Looking at
Yeah.
out of action onto that first model. Oh, and
Nope,
2.
it's a flesh wound.
Flesh wounded. You know, interesting as well here. Mind you, he's got the lead. He doesn't need to, right? He's already got, but he doesn't have anybody in position for the engage on all fronts, and he doesn't have anybody in the deployment zone for recon sweep. So,
Yeah.
although I
I mean, he
believe
doesn't need it.
Ryan's probably gonna fire and then fade into the deployment zone. I have a feeling.
I would assume so, yeah. Okay, here comes the shot from Ryan.
Big old whiff.
Yep, doesn't matter.
Gets to reroll it because he's a sniper and it was 1s, but still doesn't hit. He will move here though. I assume, maybe not. Oh, okay, they're putting him down so he can make sure that
Yep,
he
yeah.
gets in there. Okay. Yeah. There's absolutely no limiter on it either. It's like fire and fade, but it doesn't have to be like away from the enemy or anything like that. Just
Yeah.
wherever they want
So
to
he's
go.
not so he's going to go for scout the field or recon sweep, whichever one it's called.
Yeah, he's
Recon sweep.
going for
And he's
recon
gonna
sweep
move
and
block.
covering
He's
the
gonna move
bounty.
block that bounty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
that's cruel. That is cruel.
Just twisting the knife, right? Like just like, oh yeah, also
I love
this
it though.
yeah, this
I
one
love it
point
though.
that you could potentially get to in turn 4. Nope.
A true competitor. A
Yeah.
true competitor.
Break check
All right,
start.
here
Oh
come
yeah.
the break checks. So that Terminator is a veteran spec, so I think Micro is gonna.
Still has to do a break chest for the team though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, his remaining leadership is pretty up there. It's 7, 8, and 9, I think, or it might be 7, 9, and 9.
And of course that plasma rolls a 1, so he's good to go. This other plasma gunner rolls a 2, so I think he's good to go. Or did he need a 1 as well? I could be. Leadership 6.
There
A 2
are
is fine with
4
4 out
models
of it.
out of
Yeah.
action. Yeah.
All right, here's the
No
break
other
test for
flesh-wounded
Skinner.
models.
Gets an 8, so he's good.
So that's 8, so he's fine. He will not have to make a
Yeah.
nerve test for the Terminator because he's a veteran spec.
And so pretty uneventful
We scored in
leadership.
their
Yeah.
ranks.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You got them their ranks. Would have had the chance at 2 bounties here now, but now he's going to have to kill Ryan to get one of them, which isn't that tall of a task, I guess.
Very doable. Very doable.
Into turn 4. Yeah, we're looking at 15 to 4 now. So this is can't come back from this. This is going to be Micro's game no matter what unfolds here in turn 4. But I expect they're still going to give us a turn 4. I think Skinner wants to take, as many models off the board as he can, get some revenge, let his Thousand Sons sate their bloodlust. Here we go. Initiative. 6 for Skinner, and that's a 9 for Micro. So Micro's got initiative again. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're Micro, right, you can do some fun stuff here because this is pretty much locked up, right? It's like you want to get your plasma gunners into melee with a Cult Sorcerer Terminator. Why not, right? Get Ryan in there, get Rouse. Well, Rouse is dead, but throw Godfrey back into the mix, right? Like, why not at this point? You're just looking for this is a fun scenario time. Or you play cleanup duty and you just stay away with all your guns and shoot
Yeah,
at him.
I think he's just going to try to get as many points as possible.
Oh, you say that, but he's charging into the 3 of these guys here. I mean, mind you, that locks him
Well,
up
with
in.
Godfrey, right?
Yeah,
With
with
Godfrey,
Godfrey.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Stop that Soul Reaper cannon from doing any work this turn, considering it's killed a model every single turn now.
if Godfrey dies here to Psychic, he could definitely shake. His team could definitely shake, which is a crazy testament to this faction, I think, and how strong it is that he was able that with micro piloting it, it was able to build a big enough lead that this kill team can shake and still win the game.
Yeah, well, also that not only is Godfrey this unkillable, crazy melee beast of a model, but he's also the backbone of the leadership of the team.
Yeah.
So, pretty interesting how that works out. But yeah, that was the thing, right? Is like, I think had that machine gone off on Godfrey turn 1, this is, I mean, I still think it's an uphill battle for the
It
Thousand
certainly
Suns.
is, but it would have been a lot easier.
Oh yeah, it opens up a lot
James would
more
have
possibilities.
James would have been able to control the very bottom point.
Yeah. So
Probably
you're
would have been able
looking
to pick up recon sweep.
exactly. You're looking at controlling this objective. You're looking at controlling potentially recon sweep for at least 2 turns. There's a whole another mess of things. Mind you, Pius would have had to put in a little bit more work or a little bit sooner, but you know, what can you say? I mean, imagine though, right? He still had Rouse at the end at turn 2. I imagine we could have seen Rouse come into his own deployment zone for free and just chuck that grenade at whatever models moved up to try to get recon sweep if that was the case.
Yeah.
It would have changed things a lot in this game, at least from an interesting standpoint. But I think it could have been closer, but I still think it would have been an uphill battle for these Thousand Suns. But it was quite the oh man, that would have gone down in some kill team history there. I think if he could put Gottfried through that meat grinder turn 1 and take him out, because I don't know that I've ever seen a Gottfried fall turn 1.
Yeah, I have not.
So there's an advance on Ryan. He's gonna get the heck out of there. Although
Yeah, I'm telling you, Oods, I think I'm gonna start painting up my Imperial Guard this evening after this. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah, and you have the Dark Fortress models too, right?
I have I have Rhine, Rouse, Gottfried. I do not have Pious Vorn.
Yeah,
I think I might just pick up like a Sisters box and then convert her from one of those models.
one of the chainsword ones, like
Um,
just clip it, like glue a flamer to the chainsword kind of thing.
maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
There's
I
some
haven't
cool
really.
conversions I've seen. I've seen some really cool Sisters of Battle turned into Godfrey models to make it like
Yeah.
a female Godfrey kind of thing. I know one of the guys from our
Yeah.
local meta was running an old D&D Viking model that he like just pasted like this Viking with this crazy horned helmet, and he just glued an Imperial shield to him and made him into his Godfrey model, which was pretty awesome. Uh, so I mean, there's a lot of cool, things you can do. The Gottfried models, it's not a bad looking model. Ryan and Rouse are pretty cool, but again, we had this discussion the other night. Like me and Shane would just be like, "Give me whatever model it is." I don't, like I don't need to. But
Yeah.
some people out there, like yourself or some of the other people I know in our Discord, when I see the pictures of all these cool models or I see them at the tournament, some people like to put a little bit more, effort, a little bit more specialization into their models, and
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff out there. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
would see, that's the thing is Imperial Guard just aren't my play style, but they do. That's the thing
Hmm.
about Eldar too is I don't care for the space elves. The Imperial Guard. I saw here with Micro making them all chaosy. It's just not everybody's cup of tea, but they are a super effective team.
Yeah. I think what I would wind up doing with Vorn is taking a Repenta and
Hmm.
then just putting a Flamer with the Chainsword combo
Yeah, yeah,
on that model because like she has a 7-up save, so you're always relying on her invuln. So it's like, why is she even wearing armor if she has a 7-up save? You know what I mean?
yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. I don't think it's not that crazy of armor though, isn't it?
Or
Isn't it
is it
just like
like her
robes
feel
with
no
like a
pain comes from like her armor?
I didn't think it was actual armor.
I haven't.
I thought
It's
it was
been a
like a
while
like
since.
a it looked like an old
There's
like
there's
knight's
definitely
breastplate or
shoulder
something.
pads.
Shoulder
Yeah, there's
pads.
definitely
Okay,
shoulder pads on that model
I gotta
at
look
the
up the
very
model
least. So
here.
there's some form of armor.
Let's see. I'm
So
looking up the model right now. Okay, no, you're right. It does. It is like Sisters of Battle looking
yeah,
armor on her.
yeah.
You are
So it's like
correct.
we'll just do the Repenta because they don't wear any armor. They're wholly reliant on
Yeah,
their feel no pains. And
yeah.
also, like, I just want an excuse to buy a box of those models. Those are some of the coolest models, I think,
They
in
are
the
very cool
entire
looking.
Games
Yeah.
Workshop range right now.
Unfortunate that they can only take one of them, right? I think
Yeah,
in Kill Team at the
you can
moment.
take
Yeah,
one of them in Kill Team, which
yeah.
I don't know if that's a misprint or not. We'll find out hopefully with
The
the
next
new Kill
annual,
Team
yeah.
with the next like wave of Kill Team releases.
And there goes
That'll be
Godfred,
coming
by the
out
way.
around January.
Psychic has taken
Oh,
Godfred
rip.
out, so the potential for
Oh,
that break that you discussed is definitely there.
yeah.
Again, just for anybody watching, we are paying attention. We're just discussing a few other things because there's only so much we can say with the score and the turn that it is and what is possible here. So, uh, yeah. No, those pension
It's
models are very cool.
mathematically impossible for James to come back and win this.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
But it is possible for Micro to break.
yeah. Uh, right? Remember, aren't there
It's just like
Aren't the original
it
missions like if you break, you lose? And that's just
yeah,
like all
like in
there
the
is
Kill
to it.
Team core book, it's like
Yeah,
if your kill team breaks, you lose. So,
yeah.
which I always thought was I mean, it kind of makes sense, right?
I mean,
Kind of makes sense.
it makes
But also
sense,
it's like
but at the same time, if there's objectives, the objectives are like to get this thing or hold this
yeah.
point, and if you've done that to the point that
Mhm.
you've put yourself ahead, like yeah, your team breaks, so maybe they're done. But if you've already, done what you came here to do, especially in the, for chaos and stuff like that, I know like the old Heretic Astartes list was just a bunch of cultists, and like you just hoped that you didn't, you would survive long enough, and then you'd break turn 3 or turn 4. Like if the cultists have done what they
Yeah,
were sent there to do, the Chaos Gods don't care if they die, you know.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
from a lore stance, anyway. So there's the 4 shots from the Sorcerer, and I thought 2 of them hit there, but maybe not, because he's not rolling anything further. Or was that okay?
I think
That was
it's
from
from
the
the demo.
okay. Well, this is the hotshot volley gun back into the demo.
Ah, I see.
Oof.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2 at AP2.
2
It
5-up
is 1
saves.
damage, so I think it's just AP1 actually, right? Because of the All is Dust ability?
Yeah, not going to matter with that 3.
Yeah, here comes the injury. That
And
is
flesh
a
wounded.
Flesh
He has the
Wounded
CP to
Soul
reroll
Reaper
it.
Cannon Gunner. But
No,
why?
yeah, see, that was the Terminator Sorcerer shooting, because now we have the demo taking his shots.
Yeah.
Which it looks like they're going to go onto that plasma. Take out the thing that hasn't shot yet. Yeah, man, I just keep going back to that turn 1. That would have been something else if that Godfrey,
Had that gone off, man, that would have been
yeah,
wild.
yeah,
That would have been wild. I'm
absolutely
I'm
wild.
I'm I'm very disappointed that it didn't happen.
Yeah, but I'm
Because
looking
honestly,
forward
I think
to
it would have
discussing
been
it.
yeah, for sure. I want to know what James was thinking during his turn 1 deployment,
Well, I mean,
setting up
obviously that was
his
the plan, right? With the leader out in front and everything,
yeah,
because even as they were deploying, I was like, I don't know, I would have put the leader back here
yeah.
to zone, and I would have put the regular one
That's
up, and
the
then
that's the other thing too, is that the leader had 3 attacks instead of just 2, right?
yeah,
So it's like the upside there is
yeah,
just more likelihood of bringing Godfrey to an injury roll.
yeah, and that's the crazy thing too, is right? He got the one through on the wound, and then he just
Yeah, yeah,
made his 3-up invuln, So
yeah,
uh, the Emperor protected Gottfried a little bit longer than the average Imperial Guard model, so.
yeah.
These are break checks. Uh, I think that
So
Micro broke.
7.
Yeah, Micro broke.
Yeah,
So it came to fruition. The long con. These Imperial Guard models have finally broken. Uh,
he spends a CP to auto pass.
Auto pass the Rhine on the objective. Okay. That guy's shaking. That guy shakes. Pretty sure. With that many models out, yeah. Pretty sure other than a
Yeah,
1. Other than a 1, you're shaking here. And another 1. Go figure. So, not that it matters. Not the model that you needed on the objective, but still hold 1 and hold more, I believe, because.
yep. Not gonna max engage on all fronts.
Mhm.
1, 2. Yeah, not gonna max engage, but doesn't need to obviously.
Yeah. And I'm still surprised that he didn't. I guess. Oh no, he maxed recon, didn't he? Yeah, so he didn't need to stay there
Yeah,
for it. Yeah. I think that's game.
yep. All right, I'm gonna go
Yep.
hop over into their Discord.
Sounds good.
Like,
Hey
I thought I would
guys.
really have to get those sorcerers out early.
Yeah.
And them surviving all game was nasty, but the points were just too big, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the bodies for it. Like, I just have to be
Yeah.
able to. Well, I guess they might talk to us or something.
Yeah, we're in here. We're here to talk to you. You guys are on stream. Good game, you guys. That was really exciting there in the first few turns. Skinner, we gotta hear about that turn 1 strategy because you put Gottfried through the meat grinder, and
Yeah.
for a moment there we thought it was gonna happen. We were like, oh
I
my
mean, I
gosh.
did everything I could.
I know.
That was what I had set that up for, was basically if he brought him out there, I was going to get rid of him in the first turn. And I failed one of the psychic tests and didn't. Um, I guess I could have re-rolled it, and I probably should have. But um, yeah, I mean, that was really just. I knew this map, and playing him, it would come down to killing Godfrey and Vorn in the first 2 turns.
Mhm.
And if I couldn't, then it didn't matter, because he could spread out, and if I did that, then he would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. That would have been something else. That I mean, I still think it's an uphill battle for you moving forward, in the rest of the turns, but if you take that Godfrey out turn 1, it really does change kind of, I guess, what Micro's doing, right? He's still got Pious Warren, but she's not nearly as tanky a beast as the Godfred is, right?
Yeah. We were definitely hoping.
Yeah.
We were hoping it was going to happen just because
It's
it would have been
possible. I
crazy.
want everyone to see that it is
Yeah, it
possible,
almost happened.
guys.
Yeah. Well, and
It's
that's what
not. Yeah.
we were discussing is kind of Biernid taking his interesting lineup he did with the Crisis, Alec using the stealth suit in his match, Ryan considering taking the grotesque in his matchup, and then what you did here is like sometimes you gotta have those those pocket strategies for just those particular situations, whether they catch people off guard or like because I have to imagine, and Micro, I could be wrong, but you did not expect that, right? Going in turn one for him to be put through the ringer like that, or is that what you were thinking was going to happen?
Yeah, like I knew that he likes that familiar strategy. But I don't know. Someone has to eat the Cybolt, and when he sits back like that, especially with me going first, if he wants to put everything into if he's not putting it all into Gottfried, he's putting it all into Pius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So someone's got to take it. My plan was just to try and force him to put all of his psychic into one model a turn. And I was hoping to get the most value I could out of Adrenal Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that tactic was definitely like key for you during this matchup.
Yeah.
Like, did you like figure going into this game that that was going to be kind of like your plan? Just like kind of keep using that every chance you got to mitigate those psychic attacks, or was it just sort of like you were going through your tactics and you just found that sort of thing?
It was definitely part of my game plan. I was kind of planning on using it anytime both of his sorcerers were going into like one multi-wound model. Because like with 2 5-up saves, you're likely to get one of them on 2 dice, right?
Yeah.
So if he's putting them both into one model, then I should be able to absorb one psychic attack a turn, which will hopefully let me stay alive long enough to do what I need to do.
Yeah, for sure. Rouse didn't get to use his grenade, but he did get a kill with his pistol, which
Yeah.
was interesting there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I mean, it felt like a bit of an uphill battle for the Thousand Suns, like you guys were talking about when I jumped in here, is the bodies that you had and the effective weaponry that you had. Both Ryan and I questioned that Soul Reaper when we saw the musters. We thought, maybe, you don't really need the AP as much versus these guys, or, this, that, or the other. And then it ended up being your all-star, realistically, right? The psychics were being pumped into those models.
Yeah.
They took away wounds, but that guy got a kill, I think, every single turn, right? Other than
Every
turn
game.
4.
I mean, I honestly kind of designed this list after the. I mean, not copying the Michael T. Holy list, but my first matchup was versus Asuryani, and it was like I felt like that setup with this like platform cannon, and then having kind of these other distractions. Um, just having that unit like that can sit in one area and just destroy whatever it can see.
Yeah.
Was kind of my take on running this list, because it just kind of emerged out of being like, how do I take that guy on, because he's outranging my psychers with that thing, like,
Yeah.
and so it kind of I kind of like relied heavily on the Soul Reaper at LVO too, and this is a very similar map to it, and he just yeah I think everyone's so worried about the psychers that they forget that honestly he's more terrifying when it comes to like getting the job done, I think, because he's a lot less of like a liability too. Like I don't have to I'm not saving rerolls for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to move,
For sure. He can.
which helps and hurts, but
Yeah, the 4 shots is
Yeah.
pretty nice too, right? The more shots you have, the less you're concerned, I guess, about the obscurity or things like that. Obviously, you took the comms with him, and he does have the Thousand Suns ability to move and not take the -1 like a heavy. So he's
yeah.
putting down some effective fire pretty much no matter what the situation is. I
Yeah.
guess, what did you feel? I mean, like you said, this is similar to LVO. Obviously, at LVO, there's a little bit more cover, and then also 125 points. I know from what I've heard, I haven't seen any of your games, but that you've run this Occult Terminator in pretty much every matchup, maybe every matchup. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just that you value the psychic that much, or you feel like because he's 2 wounds that you're getting an effective, like a really effective model, even at that cost at 100, or what? Or
Yeah.
was it just that you were like, 100 points be damned, I'm going to play the way that I play?
I mean, honestly, I think he's worth it for the bolter that he comes with because he's better than just a regular marine that comes with like the Inferno bolter. The flamers, every time I try and play around with them, it just doesn't work because they need range because they're so slow, but they're also like they're strong, but they're really vulnerable. And so that Terminator is such a, I mean, killed or he killed one guy and put 2 flesh wounds out just in this final round, I think, by splitting his shots up. And like every game I've played, I feel like, surprises people when the bolter gets fired because I think they're so worried about the psychic attack that they kind of forget that like he's got a pretty nasty gun on him, and I think he's worth the 38 points just for that gun in combination with the psychic attack because he's a unit that I think catches people off guard, and you can really pick and choose what you want your targets to be with him a lot better than you can with um, other units. It's just about like getting the job done for me with them. Like picking, I'd rather have one guy at 38 points that I know will get something done than like have numbers, at least with Thousand Suns, because
Yeah.
it's like I need to kill people as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. And he is the best at doing that. And not taking him, I just think is like you're just not going to do well with them because you've got to have the ability to kill 3 to 5 guys in a round.
Hmm.
And I think, and that's just kind of how I've played too in these games with him, which is like round 1 and 2 might not look great, but it can turn
Oh yeah,
dramatically.
for sure, for sure. Ryan, you got any questions?
Yeah, micro. Whenever whenever secondaries are drawn for a match, in this packet, and one of those secondaries is engage on all fronts, do you like just automatically just kind of just like, oh, good, all right, it's my game to lose? Because that's what it feels like with all the movement shenanigans in this list. With like Ryan and Rouse getting like their free fire and fade after every time they can shoot, or your leader being able to issue move, move, move on any model that's like just like moved or readied up or whatever.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I like it a lot more than like that and domination are my two favorite of the
Yeah.
positional. Obviously domination for other reasons. But yeah, I just find that like what's the other one? The reconnaissance or
Recon sweep, yeah.
yeah, so recon sweeps okay, but you have to get really close and that's not necessarily what you want to be doing with guard, right? You don't want to be inches from their face. I took it here just because I know that he plays. I didn't like the position for the reconnaissance. I think it's like the board edge one or scout the field. That was the other.
Yeah, no, nobody likes scout the field.
Yeah, like especially on this deployment, it's like if I'm not going to be in his deployment zone anyway to score it, I need to pretty much be on this one corner on the board, and his Soulreaper cannon I knew was just going to be pointed right there the whole game.
Right.
And I didn't want to go for a thin the ranks or anything against a team with like invuln saves. So I
Right,
was pretty
right.
set on the double positional,
Yeah,
especially knowing how elite that Skinner likes to play.
yeah. And good thing you didn't take thin their ranks. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, because you have only have gotten it like once, I think,
yeah, I
right?
think
Yeah,
turn two.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that one Tzaangor like ate
Yeah.
9 shots
My
from
God, my
like
injury
every,
rolls
it
this
seemed
game
like
were
every
insane.
ranged weapon Imperial Guard have access to, he just ate shots from it, right? Like I
I think like my entire shooting, like I'm a shooting team at my core, right?
right.
And but all my shooting this game, I think I just killed one Tzaangor with it.
Yeah.
and then 2 Tzaangors were Gottfried and Pius in the fight phase.
Yeah.
Well, mind you, that
So what
comms
were
got
you?
lit up, but I feel like he prayed to Zinch before this map because
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how did you feel? What were like your priorities after you fired that entire salvo and that Tzaangor was kind of just standing
Oh
at the end
god.
of the turn there? Like, what was your game plan moving forward from that?
I thought I was in big trouble.
Yeah, we thought you were too. We're like, oh my god, Gottfried's gonna get psychicked off the board. These models are
Yeah.
gonna move in and control this. He's gonna pick up. James is gonna be able to pick up recon sweep.
Yeah, I really wanted to try my best to make sure that Pius got closer to the Sorcerer's turn 2. Save
Right.
Gottfried from the Psychic.
Mhm.
Um, he did decisive, but he opted not to go in on Pius because he would have had to charge for Flamer.
Mhm.
Right.
And so that allowed me to get Pius where I needed her. Well, he failed his charge too. Which kind of saved my butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because yeah, my goal was just, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna win this. Like that first round went so bad, and then
Yeah.
like the Soulreaper was already starting to impact my like output. So I was just thinking, I got to keep Gottfried alive because I need his leadership. I can't break like turn 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So that was like pretty much my only plan was like keep Gottfried alive, score your positionals, and throw some stuff at the Tzaangors, I guess. Try and
Yeah.
finish off some of these flesh wounded models.
yeah. It
What? How do you think that the I mean, it's an obvious bonus, but like, how much of a bonus do you think um, Pious Born's ability to roll 2d6 and take the highest when determining her amount of flamer shots against chaos models is in like a tournament?
It's really nice. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's the most consistent flamer in the game, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she's a great model. I will. It's not. I wouldn't take her. I don't know. The board doesn't do her any favors,
Yeah.
but she just has kind of like everything you're looking for against Thousand Suns. Her flamer's more effective. She's got the multiple wounds. She's got the feel no pain to try and negate psychic. Um, like even if she doesn't kill anything, she's just there to soak stuff.
yeah.
This map too is very like. I feel like you have to take her.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, the thought
Do you mean
process
like on
that
this deployment, James?
Yeah, this
okay,
deployment.
Yeah.
yeah. The thought process we had at the start was just as many multiple wound models as you could put in front of the psychic is what you were going to do with Ryan Rouse, Gottfried, and Pius Vorn. And then
Yeah,
the flamer is like kind of secondary for her. Like obviously it's
right.
good, but it's more that you just want to have this shield of multiple wound models. And then mind you too, with the injector shot, I believe the way that it's been FAQ'd, at least by the community, is that she gets that on top of her normal feel no pain, right? Which is why you were
Yeah,
rolling the
Yeah.
double dice. Yeah,
exactly.
which is so crazy. So she's got double feel no pain effectively against the mortal wounds, like almost more survivable than Gottfried in that scenario against the psychic with the feel no pain and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shot
Yeah,
there. So
yeah, she's a weird model. Like she can soak up psychic like nobody's business, but at the same time, if the Soul Reaper or the Stormbolter gets a clear shot on her, she can just disappear
Yeah.
yeah.
in like just one turn of shooting, no problem.
I'm trying to think if there was any other things that we had questions about while we were watching. I don't think so. You position, you kind of, you definitely mustered how we expected. Both of you, we expected the Terminator as Skinner's been taken, and we expected. Although I know Ryan was thinking you'd take more hotshot volley here. Was there a reason that you decided to go with the plasma over the hotshot volley?
Oh, yeah. The honestly, it was between the hotshot volley gun heavy and a meltagun.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay.
um, but in the end, like hotshot volley don't. They're good against Zangors. Um, but they're not. I think I prefer plasma against the sorcerers. Because when you hit a sorcerer, you need it dead. Like flesh wounding it doesn't quite do it sometimes. And they also struggle against like the Soulreaper, just because of all his dust, and they're a 1 damage weapon.
Yeah.
So I was opting to take more plasma this game. I was really hoping to be able to like deep strike the plasma guy and get like a clear shot on a sorcerer.
Yeah.
But obviously he knows how to play around that. So you don't have the same consistency with the hot shot especially against like a multi-wound model like the veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah, with the interaction, like you said, with the 1 damage weapons, makes the difference, I guess, against Thousand Suns. Was it a flip of the coin, or what made you decide to go against the Melta?
Yeah, like I'm glad I didn't, because I ended up like just crunching numbers on the Melta, and like best case scenario, you're dropping down within 6 inches of a sorcerer, but you have to have another unit closer to the sorcerer, so you don't eat the Cybolt.
Yeah.
And then even then, like I wanted to leave my CP open for like the deep strike and adrenal shot, so I wouldn't be able to reroll the hit. And they've still got the 5-up and Vuln save. And so in the end, it's like, I think a 40, like around like a 40% chance to actually get the wound.
Look at you with all your math hammer work.
Something like that. Yeah. So I figured, at least the hot shot, I can put it farther back from the psychic guys, so he's not going to be getting targeted, and they can do a number on the Tzaangors as well.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, any other questions?
No, I think that's it for me.
Okay, well, good game, you guys. Skinner, if Godfrey had gone down turn 1, I think that play goes down in the kill team history books. Still an interesting one. Still a really good job, and congrats to you for the run you made through this tournament. And congrats to you both for ensuring that there isn't a 4th Drukhari in the final
It's
four.
not just Drukhari versus Drukhari versus Drukhari versus Drukhari. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't thank you enough for that.
I'm upset I never got to play one. I just wanted it so bad.
Oh, really? You didn't get matched up with a single one? Okay.
I never played a single one.
Wow. And with 8 or 9 of them, you thought that maybe you would have gone up against one once.
I know.
But I think how many have you had to play now, Micro? Just
just one.
Okay, just
one.
Ryan. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, congrats again on the win, Micro. And I guess we'll see you next game, Ryan. I don't know if you want to sign off for the channel.
Yeah, great game, guys. Thank you all to everybody who watched the live stream, and thanks again to everybody who's going to be watching this later on YouTube. We hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.